Here. All right, so here we are. We are live on Amazon with Travis Perry, and I'm just going to put that into the comments. And anyone can ask questions right there. If we get any questions, Travis, I'll let you know, and we go. But anyway, Travis Perry from Dothan, Alabama, from ChordBuddy World headquarters there, right in your office. Thanks for joining us today on Amazon Live. Oh, I'm not hearing you there. Oh. All right. I know I heard you a moment ago, so all right. Well, let's see. We'll just keep it going for a moment here because I know that we had you there. I see a mute, unmute. The little gear there at the bottom might let you choose the audio. Make sure we've got your right audio, because I know we were there just a moment ago. We were talking when you're in the green room. If you'd like, you can drop out of this one for just a second and then re-enter the room. We'll do that. All right. All right. Well, Scott Smith here, and we are just waiting a couple of moments for Travis. He came in, and our audio was working just great. Then we went to the intro when we went live, and his audio dropped off. So he will be back in just a moment. But Travis is the inventor and founder, owner of ChordBuddy there in Dothan, Alabama. He was a winner on Shark Tank, won a deal with Robert Herjavec. And there's a great follow-up story with him when Robert actually came out to their factory there, the plant. And one of the things that Travis was adamant about when he was putting together ChordBuddy was that it was going to be made in the USA. And in fact, much of the ChordBuddy product is manufactured there in Alabama, in Dothan, in fact. And so it's been my opportunity to actually visit the factory there and see the process of assembly and shipping. They have all of their employees there putting those together. The parts for those are actually manufactured in the injection molding plant there in Alabama. So I see Travis is back, so I'm going to drop him into the room here. And let's see. I still have no sound from you, and I'm checking my audio to make sure that I've got sound. And yep, I'm hearing the little dingies on my side. And so we know that the audio is working. So we'll just check that as we follow up. So the parts are made there. The books are actually printed there in Alabama and Dothan as well. And it's great to see all of these jobs. I think we were going through and looking at how many people were working because of Travis focusing on being made in America. And so as we wrestle with a little bit of the technology here, I'm going to say, all right, so on the Travis, if you hit the gear setting at the bottom, and there's the audio, and you should have the first thing should be the speaker or the microphone, and then the speaker. And when you talk, you should see the little dots going there as usual. Got nothing. Well, I wonder what happened there, because we were I was hearing you right beforehand as we were there in the green room. Yeah, I know it was working, and then you grab the guitar for a little demo on how the ChordBuddy is working. And oh, he's calling me now. Let me just let's just do this here. All right, so there we are. We're back again.
Okay, so I'm on a different mic. Can you hear it okay?
Oh yeah, you sound good. You sound good. All right.
Okay.
So, all right, I'm just going to switch this over so I can keep track of what we got going here. So, well, we'll just start right from the beginning. Okay. Travis Perry, you know, we met a number of years ago in San Diego when you were at the social media marketing world. Yeah. And I recognized you right away, because I'll say you were my Shark Tank hero. Because not only did you win a deal, but you won a deal for trying to teach your daughter how to play guitar. And at the time I was playing guitar and I was trying to teach my daughter, and then along comes Travis. So why don't you give people a little bit of the background about the 20-year overnight revelation?
Well, okay, thanks, Scott. And I'm glad that you can hear me. Finally, I have no idea what happened there. I was using this brand new mic that I'm so hot on, and I don't know. It it failed me. So, but anyway, I will back up to past 20 years. Let me back up first and tell just a little bit of history about where I was born and raised. I was born over in a little community called Kinston, Alabama, and 49 people in my graduating class. And I had decided that I did not want to be a farmer, although farming was a wonderful way to grow up, up early every morning, feeding the cows, feeding the hogs. And I told my dad, I said, I just don't want to be a farmer. He said, well, what do you want to be, son? I said, well, I want to be a musician. And he said, son, he said, musicians end up in jail, on drugs, or dead. And as I tell people, so far I've only done 2 out of the 3. So
it's a bright future.
And but he told me, he
word.
said, son, if you're serious about this, you need to find a way to make a living in music and not have to play all the time, because that's for most people the short-lived career. So I decided I was going to teach guitar.
Okay.
And I drove an hour and 15 minutes one way, so 2.5 hours both ways, to Dothan, which is the town that I actually live in now, to teach guitar lessons. And I had been teaching guitar, Scott, probably about 2 months. And I went to the guy that owns the store, and I said, I'm going to quit. And he said, you're going to quit? And I said, yeah, I'm going to quit. He said, why are you going to quit? And I said, because I suck as a guitar teacher. I'm a failure. And he said, how do you figure that, Travis? And I said, well, I've been here about 2 months, and half of my students have quit. And he laughed, and he says, Travis, that's just the way it is. Everybody gets a guitar for Christmas, or they get a guitar, they see it being played, and it looks so easy, and so they think they can just pick it up and do it. And he said 70% quit. And I said, are you serious? And he said, so you're not a sucky teacher, you're a great teacher. He said, everybody says what a great teacher you are, and blah blah. And I said, well, wow, I just wouldn't think that 50% retention would be great, And I said, what if there was a magic gizmo someone would invent that goes on the neck of a guitar? By pressing one button, you can play a full chord that takes 3 or 4 fingers to play, and instantly you start making music. Excuse me. And you can play a song instantly, which is why you want to play the guitar, is to play a song, And either that or meet chicks, like I said on SharkTank, or maybe both.
That's right.
And then some way you would wing your way off of it, like training wheels are for a bicycle, and you'd be playing on your own. And he told me, he said, Travis, if someone invents that, they will change the way people learn guitar forever, and it will make so many more musicians, because it would be easier to learn. Well, I jumped right on it, Scott. Some 30 years later.
30 years. Okay.
30 years. And I thought about it all the time. I thought about this magical gizmo. And 30 years later, I was in the real estate business and quite successful. Had a real estate TV show, and I had my own agency, and had about 25, 26 agents. And 2007 came. Oh boy! And if any of y'all in real estate around that time, the bottom fell out. The subprime lending mortgage market busted everything. It busted it for the subprime market. It busted it for the traditional market. And I didn't sell a house. I went 18 months and didn't sell a property. And I went back. It was horrible.
It's a long time, because a friend of mine that's real estate brokers, they say we volunteer a lot. Spend a lot of time volunteering. It's not until you get into that signing room, the closing room with the title company, before you actually earn anything. So
a lot of people think that you're on salary or something. Oh no, you don't make a penny until you sell the property and it's closed at the closing table. Yeah. And you may have anywhere from a week to 6 months invested with a buyer or a seller, But anyway, so I went back to teaching guitar, literally to pay my mortgage. I mean, just to keep us in our house. I said, well, I know I can teach guitar. And I started teaching guitar again. And my daughter, Brady, who fortunately is actually working here with me at ChordBuddy now, while she decides what she's going to do with her life. we're her intermediary. What's my word? Intermediary.
Oh, right, intermediary. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Until she decided what she's going to do with college or what she's going to do. But anyway,
sure.
She asked me to teach her a song, and I said, "Yeah, I'd be happy to, Brady." And I started trying to teach her, and she, that hurts my fingers. Oh, I can't. Oh, Daddy, I can't. And I said, Brady, you are just like the rest of my students. You want to quit. You know, your finger hurts a little bit. You want to quit or you get frustrated. And I told her the story about the magic gizmo. Yeah. And she, her eyes lit up and she says, Daddy, will you make me one? Well, that night.
How can a father turn that down, right?
Oh, yeah. That night, she reminded me. We got through eating dinner, and she's, or as we call it here in the South, eating supper. You know, we don't call it dinner; we call it supper. Dinner you eat at lunch. You know.
All right.
Supper is your evening meal. But so we got through eating, and she says, "Daddy, you gonna make me that thing?" I said, "Make you what?" She said, "The magic gizmo." I said, "Oh." So I said, well, we got to get 2 popsicle sticks. So go get us 2 fudge sickles. And she went and got us 2 fudge sickles, and we ate them. And I made a G-tab out of those fudge sickles by gluing some rubber grommet on the bottom of them. And what rubber grommet is, that is actually if you rescreen a window at your home, that's the stuff that goes into the channel that holds the screen in place.
Okay.
And I owned some rental properties back then, and so I had been rescreening a window, so I had a roll of rubber grommet laying around. So anyway, glued that on. I took a big first grade pencil, glued it to the top of it, took 2 rubber bands, went around the bottom of the guitar, put it on, pressed the button, and pling, the most angelic, perfect sounding G chord I'd ever heard in my life rang out.
With one finger.
Yeah. And to be honest, I couldn't believe it worked. I really couldn't believe that it actually worked. And so I, you know what, I just thought about something. I was looking at that microphone button. Never mind. I think I know what happened. So, but we'll go with this. This is working. So.
It sounds good. You sound good.
Okay. And so anyway, it worked, and her eyes lit up, and she says, Daddy, you've invented Guitar Hero for the real guitar. So back then, Guitar Hero was really big. It's sort of played out now, but back then everybody had a Guitar Hero. And I said, yeah, I guess I have. And she says, Daddy, you should make this for everyone in the world. And had she not said those words to me, we would not be sitting here today, Scott. If she'd have just said, you know, thanks for doing this or whatever, or that's really cool, Daddy. But had she not said, you should invent this for everyone in the world trying to learn guitar, I would not have done it. I just wouldn't have thought about carrying through with it like that. And that is the story of how ChordBuddy came to be.
Well, that's, you know, and I've got a ChordBuddy here, and I didn't put it on a guitar because I just wanted it to be able to be seen. And so it's got this little screw here, and there's this will fit on a standard guitar, so a metal string guitar. And then you got these little rubber tabs where the grommets there that simulate your fingertips on the strings. And you push that button. And so if you wanted to push the blue key, you'd get a G chord. But the genius here is these little bumps on there. And I'll see if I can get it close enough. You can kind of see a little bump on there. Because as you get your fingers stronger, you can actually start to pull these little tabs out, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
oops,
You
pull off two at a
the
time.
red one comes out first, and you learn to play the D chord. And
There we go.
I actually have one on a guitar here.
Yeah. And so I
and,
just thought this was the most clever thing, the way it's designed.
Yeah.
That it actually does just take and wean you away from using the ChordBuddy as a learning tool to playing without it.
Yeah. So if you press the blue button, I'm trying to do it so you can see. That play the perfect G chord. That play the perfect D chord, C, and E minor. So with those 4 chords, literally, Scott, I mean, tens and tens of thousands, everything from when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me.
Wow.
Singing words of wisdom, let it be. You know, to head down south to the land of the pines. I'm coming my way to North Carolina. You know, I mean, just thousands and thousands upon thousands. I mean, and praying from Alabama, I have to do.
There you go.
And like you
That
said,
is fabulous.
you pull the tabs out one at a time, and actually then you learn to play that chord. So if we go back to when I find myself in times of trouble, now you're playing that chord. You're not pressing the button anymore. So
and
when you learn the next chord, you pull it out and just right on down the line. And within a couple of months, if you follow our teaching system, within a couple of months,
speak.
you're done with ChordBuddy, and you're playing on your own. So
you know, that's the thing is so many people are right-handed, and I know there's right-handed and left-handed versions of ChordBuddy, and you've got the version for a classical guitar, but so many people are right-handed, but all the work they're doing with their left hand, their uncoordinated hand, trying to do those strings, and I can see why 70% of people would give up, because you're trying to do the rhythm on this side, you're trying to figure out where the fingers go, and your fingers are not very strong, and your fingertips hurt. Yep, so you get a chance to kind of build those muscles, learn the rhythm, and then little by little start using the strings on the ChordBuddy itself.
Exactly,
on the guitar itself.
So when you remove the D tab and you start playing that one chord, well, you're only playing, or your fingers is only coming in contact with the string only 25% of the time, because you've only removed one. So you're building your calluses steadily but slowly, and your fingers don't hurt near as bad, again, because your fingers only string only 25% of the time. So, and believe it or not, you actually start the callus building process as you're pressing the buttons, because any repetitive motion that you do, and when I say repetitive motion, press, whether it's on a string or on this button, it will start that callus building process.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, it's you know, as I look at ChordBuddy, and it really is a ChordBuddy learning. It's a guitar learning system. It's not just a device that goes onto the guitar, but you do have a whole process, and you say there's a number of lessons that people go through, and then I know there's additional songbooks. There's the Christmas version, so lots of Christmas songs people can play, worship songs that people can play, but basically anything that's in the key of G or that you can transpose in with computers, it's really easy to transpose songs so that they're playable on the ChordBuddy.
Well, and there is a app out there called Tab. It's made by Ultimate Guitar that will do it for you. And I literally use that. It's called Tab, T-A-B-S, Tabs. I use it every day, and I'm serious. I use it every day. Hey, I just happen to have what comes with it sitting here on my desk. So obviously you get the ChordBuddy device that you've already seen, and then you get the lesson book, and this is a 2-month lesson plan. And again, it is a plan. It is structured lessons that takes you, I mean, from lesson 1 to lesson 5, to lesson 3. The goal is it takes you from using it to not using it. That is the goal. And then in the songbook, you have 106 color-coded songs.
And this all comes when people buy the ChordBuddy.
So see, it's color-coded. And I mean, there's songs in here, whether you're 8 or 80, whatever. I mean, Teenager in Love, All Shook Up by Elvis, Amanda, Amazing Grace, which is a gospel song, At the Cross, a gospel song, Blue Moon Rising by CCR, Blue Suede Shoes, Brown Eyed Girl. I mean, every song in here, somebody said, how'd you pick the song? I said, well, one, it had to be a hit song or it didn't go in the book. So every song in here, if it's not gospel, was a hit song on the charts. And then we also have, I think, 5 more books besides this one that you can buy from our website.
That's the thing is, and there's a community. You have a Facebook group out there called Striking a Chord, where people help each other out, and they're sharing songs around. So, but I tell you what, 100 songs, you're going to find something you like. And the great thing is that people can get that guitar out of the closet, out from under the bed, and if not, buy one. You can buy guitars with the computer controlled manufacturing. You can get a really good quality guitar for not a lot of money.
Right.
A few years ago, you'd have to spend a lot of money to get a good quality sounding guitar.
Well, Scott, I have it on my wall. I think it's out there. No, it's upstairs. I moved downstairs to a downstairs office, but my upstairs office is my first guitar, and my first guitar cost me about $50, and it was a piece of dirt. I mean, it was. Oh man, it killed my fingers. But the quality of guitars, has gone up so much. Consistent quality. On our website, you can buy a guitar, ChordBuddy, lesson book, songbook. You can download the app, or you can go to our website, and under the About tab, we have our videos, or you can request a DVD at checkout, picks, and a guitar tuner. Now get this, $249.
Yeah, see, that's a crazy deal.
That's crazy.
And that's the thing is that when I was a kid, a $250 guitar was still it wasn't very good. It was going to have as I called it, a broomstick neck, hardly playable. Today, it's hard to find a guitar that's not playable. I mean, if you go to any of the, if you look on Amazon, you find any of the guitars here, and I threw a few in the carousel, people can take a look at. You can get a really nice guitar that you'll be happy with for the rest of your life. But the problem is so many people got guitars, but they didn't have the ChordBuddy, so 70% of them quit. Yeah. And
I as you know, and you've seen some, we get letters every day with people of how ChordBuddy has changed their life. Music music in and of itself is life changing. And I've told people, music is the one constant that has been with me in my highs and my lowest lows, whether friends come and go. The one constant was my music. And so that's why it's so important to, I think everyone out there should pick up music. We know that it helps the brain. It keeps the brain sharp. 90% of all doctors out there have music in their background, really? So we know that somewhere in their background, 90% of physicians have had a music course, or either are musicians themselves.
Wow, that's really interesting. I didn't know that number existed. As far as the number of doctors, but it makes total sense. And there's this whole creative aspect with music, And when you're able to work both sides of your brain, you can solve problems. And I'll tell you what, I want my doctor to be able to solve problems.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so you were on Shark Tank, and I know
Yep.
we all want to know. And I put the picture right up here with you and Robert Herjavec. And so you were one of the early on contestants and winners, and probably by far one of the most popular episodes, most popular segments of Shark Tank. So tell us a little bit about that experience.
Okay. Yeah. People say, what did Shark Tank do for you? And I said, well, it changed my life. It changed my financial business life forever. And it's crazy to think that literally in 15 minutes, it can change something that you've worked your entire life for. And that can happen bad or good. So I mean, there's been people that have learned what they've worked for in a lifetime in 15 minutes. So, but it changed my life forever. I actually, in 2009, we were not on the market yet. We didn't go on the market until 2010. But in 2009, Shark Tank aired. Well, I'm watching the very first episode. And because I say for years I was an entrepreneur. Finally, I'm an entrepreneur. Everything I touched to at one time in my life turned to. So that's why I say I was an entrepreneur.
All right. That's good. That's good. We'll see that in the School of Business pretty soon.
Someone asked me once. They said you should write, because I use that phrase. They said you should write a book called "From Entrepreneur to Entrepreneur." And all the puns. I stepped in it, and just all kind of stuff.
Well, you write the book, and we'll be part of the of the book launch here on Amazon.
Yeah. That would be great. So anyway, I'm watching the first episode, and as the credits roll, it says, "Are you an inventor? Do you have an amazing product? Apply." So I applied right then, and got an email back that I need to send them a sample of my product, and so I didn't have a real product at that time. All I had was a prototype, and I sent it to them, and 2 years later. 2 years later, in January, February, March, I think it was in August. No, in June. In June of 11, the Shark Tank show called me in June of 11. I'd forgot. Wow. I'd given up.
Sure.
Now we were on the market by then, because we went on the market in 2010. So at 11, 2 years later, they called me, and actually the guy that called me is Clay Burnett. I'm sorry, Burnett's the guy that owns the whole thing. Clay Newbell. Okay. He's the head producer. Mark Burnett owns it. He owns that and Survivor and The Apprentice, which is how I met John Rich, was through The Apprentice, who became a spokesperson for ChordBuddy for several years. But he called me and he said, "Hey, this is Clay Newbell," which I knew the name because I had watched the credits and who the head producer was. And he said, "Hey, we just went over your product, and it's unanimous. We would love to have ChordBuddy be on Shark Tank. Are you still interested?" And I said,
"Yeah,
Clay, I am not. I've made so much money with," and started laughing. But the first thing he said when he called me, he said, "How you doing?" And I said, "Clay, I'm kicking like a chicken." And he liked to fell out. He said, "I've never heard that expression before." And I said, "I'm surprised." He said, I said, "Well, down here in LA, we say it all the time." We call him California, obviously. And he said, I said, "Yeah, Lower Alabama." He said, "Man, you're going to do great on the show. We can't wait to have you on there."
That's true. That is true. So
for 2 months, they give you a pitch coach to help you hone your when you walk out there, so you don't freeze. Because you only have 90 seconds before they can start interrupting you and asking questions.
Okay, 90 seconds. All right.
Yeah, so that's
going fast.
Yeah. But for 90 seconds, they don't interrupt you. They let you get what your product is and all that out. And then they can start stopping you and say, and so we went on and I went out there. They flew the whole family. We're the first Shark Tank contestants that they flew the entire family out there, all 5 of us. Brady, Ely, Goodson, and my wife. And they're actually on the show in the beginning, on my segment, on the beginning and at the end. In fact, Brady it has a pretty good part on there when they actually came to Dothan and spent 4 or 5 days here filming our pre-roll. And they were at the house, and that it followed me all over Dothan. I mean, it was quite an ordeal. A lot of fun. Good. But anyway, got a deal with Robert Hershevik, and it changed my life. And me and Robert are great friends to this day. And I made him a rock star, and so he owes me.
I remember his expression was so genuine. I mean, maybe he's a great actor, but I think his expression was genuine.
Well, even the picture behind you, look at his face. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I remember. It's because he said, I know that he had tried to play guitar before, and it didn't work.
Yeah, and that, and I'm looking at that same picture that's actually on my wall. It's a huge picture, takes up half the wall. But Scott, I have seen that expression thousands and thousands of times as I have traveled literally the country and Canada and parts of Europe, and have put the ChordBuddy and guitar in thousands of people's hands. And I can tell you, I have seen that expression thousands of times when they're making something musical and pleasing for the first time in their life. It gives me chills as I even tell you about it.
And Travis, I know I've heard the stories too of veterans coming back from the Middle East with nerve damage, and people talking about their dad wanting them to learn guitar, and now the dad's dead, and they get to ChordBuddy, and now they finally broke out their dad's old instrument, and they're saying, I know he's looking down on from heaven. And so many of these stories that I've heard, it's hard to probably not be emotional in what you have brought to the world through ChordBuddy.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned soldiers returning with hand issues, IED explosions and whatnot. We have donated, and I can't tell you how many, to Walter Reed, to the upper extremities division there, where they have people that are rehabilitating. It's like when we and the Walter Reed people were talking first years ago, I said, would they rather squeeze a rubber ball or learn to play the guitar? And so we donate product to them every year. They'll call us up and say, hey, we need so many ChordBuddies, and we pack them right up and send them to them.
That is wonderful. Yeah, that's and that goes back to the whole. I know as you were there with Robert, and in having the product made in the USA, and a lot of it is made there in Dothan. I was mentioning that at the beginning when we're kind of getting the microphone reactivated. But one of the questions that before we go too far along, I just have to know, what's it like hanging out with a billionaire? Because most of us don't get to have that opportunity. And as wonderful as the ChordBuddy is, I want to hear Travis's perspective on hanging out with a billionaire.
It's the same as hanging out with my great friend Scott Smith. I mean, there was no difference. I was riding around with him in his limousine in Windsor, Canada, with John Rich was in front of us, and we're in the back of now get this. Okay, Robert had flown in on his private 747 jet. Okay. And then his private limousine and driver, who actually travels with him everywhere, his driver, they come pick me up at the hotel, and we're in the back of his limousine, like just the way we're sitting here talking. I mean, it's and he's come pick me up on his Lamborghinis, whatever those when I was
Sure.
in Canada, come pick me up there and rode around. And he's a big kid.
Now his hobby is also
he's like
his
me.
hobby
He's a
is
big kid.
yeah, and his hobby is race cars, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Did he drive like a race car driver with you? Because that's a lot of power in that
He
thing.
he got on it. He got on it pretty heavy. I had fun, but I was sort of glad when we got back to the TV station. I was up there doing not QVC, but their competitor.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Whatever I can't think of their competitor now.
One of those, yeah.
Uh,
One of those Amazon Live kind of a things.
yeah. And
Yeah, like the
but
home
that's when I was
shopping
up
or
there.
whatever.
But Robert came and was on the show with me, and he says, "Hey, let's take a spin around the block." And I said, "Yeah, man, let's do it." And he got on it. I think we hit like 150.
See, now, yeah, all right, hanging out with a billionaire. That's still kind of cool. I'm glad to know that of all the sharks, I don't know. Maybe it's his story or his persona, the way he comes through. It just seems like he'd just be a nice guy to have a cup of coffee with.
Well, you're exactly right. In fact, I've done that several times. Just had a simple cup of coffee and talk about what the goals were for ChordBuddy. In fact, he literally was here, flew his big 747 into Dothan, and was sitting literally in this chair for 2 days. He came to check things out. And which that was actually they had a camera crew, showed up to film a segment for Beyond the Shark Tank, which we were. It was only one season, and we were selected as the main product that they wanted on the show.
I remember that.
But Robert sat right here for 2 days and conducted his business, and I would come down from my office and sort of slow down and I wanted to. I said, let me listen to what Robert's doing. Who over the world he's talking to.
Yeah. And so one of the questions, and I know that Kevin is always big about costs, right? He wants to save every little penny, make them squeal, right? And they talked about why would you not have this made in Asia? And I think in the last year we've probably seen some reasons why.
Yeah.
There's some counterfeits out there. Counterfeit ChordBuddy.
Yeah, we got hit in December of 20. No, 19.
Yeah.
And we're battling them literally every day. We are fighting these counterfeits. And yeah, it took them a long time to do it. I expected it a long time before now, but anyway, they finally did. And they target. They watch Shark Tank, and that's how they got our product. They kept seeing that we were one of the most popular products, and they just bought one. They bought one, and they reverse engineered it, and it's on the market. It's a piece of crap. It breaks, and thank God. Thank goodness it's a piece of crap, because if it really worked and was good, we would be in serious trouble.
Yeah.
But and also, counterfeit is one thing, Scott, but the other thing now is you can't get any product hardly out of China.
Well, it turns out that having it made locally has worked out well for you guys, because you didn't have to worry about all these shipping issues and running out of shipping containers or space in containers, or the price being jacked up because that's so limited.
Well, and a good example of that, we actually we have to have some things made overseas, but the ChordBuddy and every part of this product here is made in the U.S., and most of it right here in Dothan. Now, our guitars were made overseas. Here's an example of what we're dealing with in China. The last time we ordered guitars, we paid $4,000 to have them shipped to us. Okay, that was for roughly 1,800 guitars. Okay, you know what I just wrote a check for the same shipping, same amount of guitars?
Yeah,
$16,000. 400%.
Yeah,
that's increased.
That's hard to work with. When you're in business, that's really hard to manage.
Yeah.
And but I know that like the plastic here, this acrylic that these are made out of, the injection, that's just a few miles from your plant. And
they are actually, the injection mold machines are about 3 miles from ChordBuddy, and we have them delivered weekly to us.
Yeah, they just load them up in the pickup truck and drive them over.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
I mean, that's and the books. So the lesson plan book that you showed, the song book with 100 songs in there, all ready to play. Those are printed there in Dothan as well.
Now they're printed at a print shop right beside where the injection mold machines are.
Yep,
they're side by side each other, so right there. And I'm now fortunate enough that I was able to buy this wonderful building we're in now. But before I was here, I was right beside the printer's press. So it was injection molding, the printer, and me. We're all one little wad there.
Well, and I know because ChordBuddy has done so well over these years, and not with a lot of, I'll say there's still a lot of effort. Just being on Shark Tank was helpful, but I know that you and everyone on your team has put in a lot of effort to make this successful. But because of that, you're a major part of those companies' revenue, I believe. ChordBuddy is.
Oh, I would. We're the printer's biggest customer, and we are probably the injection mold's biggest customer. And you're right. Shark Tank gets it going, but it just gets it going. It just pushes you, out the window, and then you got to learn to fly. Or else you're gonna hit the ground, and you're gonna be a goner. And Shark Tank's good and bad, but the bad part is that once you have that incredible amount of success, well, you can't back up then. Right. You got to keep it going, And in 2016, we aired, I didn't tell when we aired in February of 12. Well, for 4 years, we re-aired all the time. So every time you re-air, ching, ching, ching. That's really good. Because you're not out of sight, out of mind. You're in sight, you're on their mind. So every time somebody sees it, when they see this wonderful product, they buy it. Well, in 2016, Shark Tank made a rule that after you've re-aired for 4 years, you will not re-air on the network anymore. And I didn't know that until about halfway through the year, and I noticed we hadn't re-aired, and our sales are starting to dip. And I sent Clay Newbell a email, and I said, "Hey, Clay, we normally have re-aired, by this time." And he said, "When did you air?" I said, "February of 12." He says, "Oh, son, you won't be re-airing anymore. We made a new rule that after 4 years, you age out or whatever. You don't." And I said, "Oh my God!" So we literally had to regroup. Reassemble and figure out, because up until then we pretty much had done no advertising. Didn't have to. Shark Tank was our advertising.
Sure.
Well, in 16, that went away, so I started having to hear. I have an almost 60-year-old guy had to start learning about Facebook and Instagram and all this social media. In fact, the way I met you, Scott, was that was what I was trying to do out there, was educate myself on how to market my company, that I now was left holding the bag with Shark Tank not going to re-air anymore. I've got to figure out how to do it, and that's how I met you. Yeah,
that was such a fun time to
and I remember you walking through. Wasn't that in 16 or 17?
Something, yeah, it's something.
I mean, it was 16 or 17.
I remember you're there, you're walking through. I'm like, that's Travis Perry, and you were playing in the band, you sat in with the band, and that was an all-star band.
Stevie Wonder's bass player.
Reggie McBride was playing that day.
Yeah, Reggie, that's right. Yeah. I was honored and floored that they even asked me to be in their all-star band, and so, but I certainly accepted, and it was a lot of fun.
And you are still playing in the bands
Yeah,
on
I'm
occasion.
in 2 bands presently. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, as you said, music has been the constant as
Yeah.
you've gone through. And, ChordBuddy makes it easy for people. I can't think of a better way to express yourself and just to have the enjoyment of music than to get a ChordBuddy and a guitar and start playing right away.
Yeah. Yeah. You're playing your trigger song, whether it be Brown Eyed Girl or Amazing Grace or, Down on the Corner by CCR. You're playing it not a month from now, not a week from now, not 2 months. You're playing it within seconds of installing ChordBuddy on your guitar. You're playing within seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And that is 100% the truth,
Yeah. And it's funny. So I've got this guitar right over here, this electric one. I've put it on there. I put on my acoustic guitar. I've got a guitar that's got no head, and I've put it on there, and it fit just fine. And now there's also the uke-buddy, because the ukulele is such a popular instrument. I'm just going to highlight it in the carousel here. There's the uke-buddy, and I just happen to have a little uke right here because they're small, they're fun to play,
they're inexpensive.
They're inexpensive, and you can take this with you to the park, to the beach, on vacation.
Yeah,
and you can sit on your front porch, your back porch, in your bedroom, and I love when you came out with the uke-buddy because, again, for less than $100, you can have a pretty nice ukulele.
Oh yeah. And, well, Scott, we have a ukulele, a uke-buddy, a tuner, the books and everything, for just what you said, under $100. So
this is so for people to be able to play, as I say, real music on a real instrument. And I know some of the detractors will say that it's a cheat or that you're not really playing, but these are people who don't understand. They haven't really taken the time. They're just being reactionary to this. But like I said, when you talk to these people who have arthritis or other issues, other physical or issues that they're dealing with, it's the only way they can play, but they're playing real music on a real instrument.
Oh yeah. Well, and the kids with autism or kids with different abilities, as we say, it's a smaller market, but it's still a very, very, very rewarding market, because you're right, without our product, they would never make a pleasing sound on an instrument. But when you mentioned the people that say it's a cheater and this, you're not really playing, you're right. Those people have never looked past just seeing a device. They didn't take the time to realize that it comes apart. Yeah, that would be like saying, "Oh, a kid's riding a bicycle with training wheels. He's not really riding a bicycle."
Right.
That would be the same example. Yes, he is riding a bicycle. The training wheel just gives him confidence and help with his balance because he don't have it yet. Same thing with ChordBuddy. You don't have hand-eye coordination. You don't have muscle memory. You don't have calluses. So we're your training wheel that just helps you get over that hump. And so I've never met a hater, as I call them, in the beginning, because they hate the product in the beginning. But I have seen so many, hundreds, probably thousands. Once I explain it, and once I pull that D out, and they see that you're really start learning to play, they all go, "Oh wow, that is very cool. I didn't know it did that."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, and that'd be if one of the professional cyclers got off the Tour de France on their extremely expensive, high performance bicycle that they've been riding for years, and looks at the kid with training wheels and say they're not a real rider. They would never say that. Right. So I love that example.
Yeah, well, and if you were to back that same Tour de France rider up, 20 years and saw him in his first bike, I guarantee you know what you'd see on there? Training wheels.
That's
And
right.
possibly without the training wheels, he might have fallen, skinned his leg up, had such a traumatic experience with riding a bike that he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Gave up. Would have
He
given it
gave
up.
up. So,
Given it up.
so that you're right. That's the perfect example.
Well, Travis, it's the time always goes so fast. I love talking with you. You're a great person. Thanks for creating jobs for people in the community, for giving people the ability to play real music on a real instrument, and have the confidence that provides. Because I have again, just going back to some of these stories where people. I know there was a guy in California that was saying, he picked that thing up and went Christmas caroling with his daughter just a couple weeks after that.
Yeah.
Never would have been able to do that. Certainly wouldn't have had the confidence to do it. But what a great memory that father
And he has
daughter
stayed in
created.
touch with us and is a great guy. And
Yep. And I just
I
appreciate
had a 82-year-old man who wanted to play Brown Eyed Girl for his beautiful bride of 60 years.
Wow.
And
What a gift.
Yep. And with the use, by me sending him a ChordBuddy, he was able to play Brown Eyed Girl for his bride of 60 years. How wonderful.
That is fabulous. Well, Travis, I know that you've got to grab your son Goodson and get over to the ball field.
To the ball field.
Is it a game tonight? Game time tonight?
No, they actually they ended up losing in the All Stars series. They came in second,
nice.
Which is to be honest, the team that beat them, Scott, were well above them. I mean, it would have taken a miracle. They were well above them. So that's over. But now we're on to travel ball. So this is the first practice that he's been able to attend because of All-Star practice. So they've been practicing for a couple of months, the other team, but this is the first one, so I wanted to make sure he made it there tonight.
Well, yeah, I definitely want to let you go, but we'll do this again sometime.
Yeah,
I think we'll talk some more, and maybe we can go through some different songs. We'll gear it up, and we'll show people how different styles of music can be played with the ChordBuddy, and take them through that whole process of using it as a learning system and weaning themselves away from training wheels. Well, Travis, with that, I'm just going to say thank you. I want to put this overlay up, and we'll sign off for today. Stay here in the green room, and I'll chat with you in a moment.
Okay.
Well, that is Travis Perry. He is the inventor, founder, and owner of ChordBuddy, and there he is with Robert Herjavec when he won the deal on Shark Tank and turned Robert Herjavec, the billionaire, into a rock star. Even though he had tried to play before, even with all his money, he needed the ChordBuddy. You need the ChordBuddy. And so click on that, add it to your cart, have fun, enjoy the prime days as it winds down these final hours here, and we'll talk to you all soon.